Hopefully everyone is doing okay. I know the markets are looking a little rough right now. Been a very rough few days if you were in longs or own crypto in general. But hope everyone's surviving. Yeah, it's been tough, guys. And I understand, when the markets are like this, especially if you have not been around crypto very long, this might be your first time experiencing prices going down. And I've talked about this repeatedly in previous streams and in videos, that we've been in a downtrend for a couple months now. Now it's starting to accelerate, right? We have a very steep downtrend. A lot of you probably got introduced to crypto around here. And so you've only experienced this, right? And then even when it dropped, it went back above. And what you need to realize is just as much as this happens in crypto, this happens too. So, if you like the ride on the way up, you got to be prepared for the fall back down. What goes up must come down. It sounds corny, but it's true in life, and it's definitely true in markets. It's definitely been rough, but it's not somewhere I haven't been before. I've been involved in crypto and Bitcoin since 2013. So as much as I hate losing money, I never even thought in 2014, in 2017, that Bitcoin could ever get to 35,000, let alone 60,000. So it's easier for me just having that experience, kind of, being like, okay, well, if I'm just basing my net worth in number of Bitcoins and, I believe Bitcoin's going to go up over the long term, it's a little easier. But obviously, I understand a lot of you, this is your first market cycle, and there's going to be a lot of lessons learned in the coming weeks and months. You're going to look back at decisions you've made over the last few months and over the last year even, and, wonder why you didn't take profit, why you didn't get short, why you bought this altcoin and held it, rather than get upset at yourself and revenge trade or act on emotion. FOMO, fear is an emotion, fear of missing out. Rather than do that, use these things as lessons and ways to motivate you to just improve your game, because that's what trading is. Trading is literally like the greatest video game in the world, and there is opportunity every single day for you to make money, both up and down. And the sooner you realize that markets can go up or down, the better off you're going to be. I think if you follow me and you follow my videos, you understand that I approach crypto from a trader perspective more so than an investor. So what does that generally mean? At least for me, it means I'm probably going to underperform someone who just was like, yo, DeFi is the future back here, and they were just net long DeFi, and assuming they took some profits on the way, they absolutely crushed it. But now we're seeing the downside of that. DeFi is getting absolutely smoked. So that person who might have crushed it on the way up, well, if they didn't realize any profits, they're going to eat shit on the way back. I might not make as much money in the bull run. I am always holding things like Bitcoin and Ethereum and other coins, in the bull run. But when the market is going sideways and down, I'm able to adapt. I'm able to look for shorts. I'm able to hedge, able to be more nimble. And I do think what happens, I know what happens is when you have a bear market, what you really see is who are the people who actually know what they're talking about and people who don't. And so it's a great opportunity for you to trim your following list. It's a great opportunity for you to sharpen your own skills and learn. And I think that's why you follow me, because I have that ability to kind of flip my bias quickly. But there's nothing wrong with being a holder or an investor. Like I said, during a bull run, the holders and the investors, if you catch trends early, you're probably going to outperform the trader, because, I might long here and then close here and then re-long here and then close here and then re-long here, where you just longed here and held it all the fucking way. But my goal is catching the meat of the move and then making sure I'm always protected for downside. And it's served me well over the years. I've done very well for myself, and hopefully by watching these videos and these streams, and I know that this is happening because you guys message me and leave me comments and stuff, that it is working and you guys are learning to trade and making money and saving yourself some money and mitigating losses, which is awesome. That's why I do these videos. That's why they're free, because I've been in your shoes, right? When I experienced the bull run way back here, because I'm that old, I longed everything. Altcoins, Bitcoin, everything. Up here, I thought I was rich. I quit my job. Back here, I took my job back because I didn't know that you could short the market. I didn't know I could sell altcoins at a loss and protect myself from further downside. I didn't know shit. And the problem was I was following a bunch of bulltards on Twitter, and whatever they told me to buy, I just bought blindly, and I didn't actually know what their positions were. Were they still holding this entire time? Probably not. Did I take any profits? No, I gave back pretty much everything and more, because around here I discovered leverage trading. on the way back down. And it was a brutal lesson. But what I learned to do is know how to spot the real from the fake and who to actually pay attention to. And then I also learned that I have to make my own decisions and I have to be responsible for my own decisions. That way I'm not looking at anyone on Twitter to tell me if I should close a trade, open a trade. I have my own plan and I stick with it. And I realize that I'm not always going to be right, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, when I'm wrong, it's on me. And when I'm right, it's also on me. This was a huge learning experience for me, and it allowed me to really do well in this bull run. I wouldn't say I made it in 2017. I made it in this bull run, this most recent one. I would have loved to have done better here and then crush it here. And by here, I'm fucking a bazillionaire. But I lost basically everything here. I decided to learn how to trade. I did pretty well in this bull run, but doing well in this bull run and then bear market, saving my money, making money on the way down by shorting allowed me to really capitalize on this bull run. And, for many of you guys, it will be the same. The chances of you making it in one bull run is very slim. Unless you got in shit super early and you just took profit at the right time, there's a good chance a lot of stuff you were up massively on, you were counting your chickens before you hatch. You're like, okay, well, if this goes to here and this goes to here and this goes to here, I have this many $1 million, I'm going to retire. And then all of a sudden, the market dumps 50% and those altcoins you're in dump 60, 70, 80% because they're generally more reflexive. And all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, I didn't have as much money as I thought. What about taxes? What about how am I going to get out of this position? When is the next bull run going to happen? Shit like that. So these are all really hard truths that you're going to have to deal with, but they're all lessons and they're going to make you a better trader, a better investor in the future. It's okay to make mistakes. What's not okay is to make the same mistake over and over and over again. That's what you want to avoid. This will be a great experience for all of you, and if you stick around, it will be worth it. Generally, you have to remember, as much as things look bad now, this is the crypto chart over the last 10 years. No matter how ugly it's gotten and how many times it's looking like it's over, what does this chart do? It goes up and it goes to the right over a long enough time period. So if you're able to survive these periods, you can capitalize on these ones, right? Because as much as it goes down awful, it goes up a whole lot more before it goes down again. We've never come back below a previous all-time high. Could that change this go around? Could we come back below 20K? I don't know, maybe. But this is no different than the stock market. The reason people lose money in the stock market is they are in and out, in and out, in and out. They're trying to time the market and stuff. When the person who's just been buying and holding, over a long enough period of time, you're up. This chart goes up and to the right. And I don't see Bitcoin being any different over the super long term. That doesn't help you in the today and the tomorrow. That's obviously a very macro high time frame outlook, but patience is definitely going to be key. Like I said, these are all going to be lessons for you guys to learn. And I think, if you're using this time to sharpen your skills, if you're reviewing the decisions you made in the last year that you could have done better, you are absolutely going to crush it in the next bull run. I'm not saying this bull run is over. I mean, I do think we're obviously, if we're not in a real bear market, we're in a mini bear market for sure. We've been in a downtrend on the high time frame for 2 weeks. We just made another lower low. Like, the only real bull case I have for us going up from around here is like some sort of run below these lows, but then hold it. Otherwise, I do think that there's a good chance that we're going to see some prolonged down and sideways for sure. But again, lessons to be learned. Mistakes were made. It happens. I didn't play this shit perfectly either. I wish I sold everything when we broke market structure up here. I didn't, right? But it's all about taking what you've done and then saying, okay, how can I better protect myself in the future? And noticing those emotions. What was I feeling up here? Was I counting all the millions I had? Maybe that's a good time to take some money off the table. And what was I feeling down here? Was I ready to sell everything and go back to my job because I was feeling, depressed and anxious and I thought the world was going to collapse? And then obviously we rallied. So these are good learning experiences. I know they hurt. I know a lot of people are losing money. I talked more about this in the video I uploaded the other day. It got a ton of views. So obviously I think it resonated with a lot of people who are going through it right now. As I said in that video, and I'll say again here, at the end of the day, this is just money. And I know it sucks. I know you might have thought at one point during this uptrend that you were going to retire. And now you're like, oh shit, maybe not. Or, at one point you had enough money to buy that car you wanted or whatever it may be. And now all of a sudden that money's evaporated just as fast as it came. It's a dangerous game we play, but it is just money. There's always opportunity to make more. This is not the end of crypto, in my opinion. I do believe Bitcoin will make a new all-time high in the future. Who knows when that is? Maybe it's in 6 months. Maybe it's in 18. We don't know. But at no point should you be so upset about losing money that you consider doing anything stupid at all. Be safe, be smart. You got people that love and care about you. And I know that crypto can consume your world and all you think about is crypto and money, and you're checking prices all the time and you're watching your net worth fluctuate, you have to be able to detach yourself from that a little bit. Think of this as more of an opportunity. The fact that you're even aware of crypto right now is an opportunity, and the fact that we might go lower and you're going to have an opportunity to buy crypto cheap. Just like people here thought this was the end of the world, right? You know, even if you bought 6K here, you looked like a genius when we were at 60, and maybe we bought them at 25K. Well, when we're at 100K a few years from now, you're going to look like a genius. So you've got to change the way that you're framing this stuff in your mind and not be so negative about it, because your mental health in times like these is super important. And if you're not in a good place mentally, reach out to people, friends, family, get in discords with other traders. It's hard to relate to friends and family when your net worth is fluctuating what they might make in an entire year. So find people that you can commiserate with, that understand what you're going through, and be there for each other. That's important, right? I don't want anyone to hurt themselves or do something fucking stupid. And then also work on, you know, being mentally tough. If you can survive these types of downswings, you're going to be an absolute machine. That's why you see guys who are able to swing these huge P&Ls, multiple hundreds of thousands P&L, because they've been through the trenches, they fought the demons, and you're like a rock after that. It doesn't phase you. You know, I can lose a stupid sum of money and I'm not sitting in my bed all day crying over it, right? I've been there before, but not anymore. You know, I've learned to manage those emotions, and your mental health is super important, and the way that you talk to yourself is super important. If you're like, I'm a shit trader, this is awful, I hate this sucks, like, you're just gonna manifest these things into your life. You got to be positive. You got to change the way that you're framing this. Take your problems and frame them as opportunities as opposed to problems. You're going to have a lot better results in life and in trading as well. You know, and if you find yourself so emotionally distraught after losing this money, maybe this isn't for you. And that's okay. Not everyone is cut out to be a trader. Just because you're not day trading, it doesn't mean that, you know, in leverage trading, it doesn't mean you can't be on crypto Twitter. Doesn't mean you can't invest in crypto and hold crypto and build a portfolio, but maybe the in and out trading every day, flipping biases, is not for you. And that's okay. You need to understand what type of personality you have and see if that lines up with what you're actually trying to do in the charts and in the markets. Now is not the time to be leverage trading and putting yourself in a position to get liquidated. I say this all the time. You can liken it to sports or combat, gambling. You might have a sick hand, but if you go all in and the guy's got a better hand, you're done, right? If you're out there on the battlefield and you shoot all your fucking bullets, you're out of the game. You got no fucking bullets left. You want to make sure that anytime you take a loss, it's a flesh wound, not a mortal wound. Because if you're out of the game, you're done, right? If you take a loss, but you still have chips, you have the opportunity to build it back, right? And to recoup that loss. So I hope everyone's staying safe. I know that these are some rough waters out there, but we will make it through. But you have to have some hard conversations with yourself about your portfolio, how your assets are allocated, how you're trading, and maybe realize that, hey, this is going to probably be more of a PvP type of environment for the next little bit. Up and down, stop runs on either side, as opposed to just a super strong uptrend. And if that's not something you're interested in trading, don't. Wait. You can be patient. The bottom is not going to form just like this. You're going to see people call, just like everyone was calling bottom the entire way down. The bottom is not going to be one candle. Outside of this, which was a black swan event with COVID and the markets crashing, where we actually V-reversed, even this, right? There's the bottom. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You had multiple weeks here. This is 15 to 20 weeks before we even got back above this high. And even if you bought in at 10K, you crushed it. You did a 6X just by holding Bitcoin alone. Chances of it bottoming like this without some other black swan event is very low. Bottoms are much more realistically going to look like this. It's going to be a very painful sideways range, where we're going to see runs on the lows, runs on the highs, fake breakouts, and just absolutely demoralizing price action if you're staring at it every day before the actual bottom forms. So don't worry about not buying the tick here and be like, okay, well, I caught the low, right? Because chances are people who bought this low just being like, that's it, puked it on the way up anyways. They didn't hold that all the way to the top. Just like people who bought down here, most of them puked as soon as they were in the green, because like, holy shit, I'm above water, I'm out. And again, even here, we had a range form. It went sideways, right? If price is going to go on a massive rally like it did here, it needs to accumulate. Price needs time to accumulate, right? So large players, that's what it takes to move this up, buying, right? Lots of money buying to move this up. You have to realize as price gets higher, it takes more money to move price up further because the underlying asset is more expensive. Longs need to be accumulated here, and that takes time. So before the people accumulating the longs are ready to move up, they want to make sure that they've accumulated enough longs for the move up to happen. It takes fucking time, and then it takes time for them to distribute those positions. They're not exiting all of their portfolio here. They're exiting on the way up. It takes time to have this big run. You need accumulation, and to have a big drop, you need distribution. Same thing here. What happened before the run to 20K? We had a very long period of accumulation. This is how bottoms generally look, not those V bottoms. Those very rarely happen. I think COVID was a black swan. It's an anomaly. Don't expect the same thing happen. If we get some crazy black swan again event, maybe, but I'm much more interested in waiting for some sort of bottoming structure. Remember, bottoms don't form when the selling stops. They form when the selling stops and the buying begins. So we're still seeing a lot of selling. We're not seeing a lot of buying. We're down 50% off the highs. We've smashed through multiple levels of support in almost straight down form. Are we due for a bounce? Absolutely. And how high could that bounce go? It could go to 40K. It could go higher. I don't know. But the bottom is not going to form in one candle. This is a macro high time frame downtrend. We've broken market structure on all the major high time frames. The bottom is going to take time to form. It's not going to form in one candle. You're not going to miss it. Right? There will be time. So this is not the time to be rushing into longs thinking the bottom is just in. This is not the time to try and play hero. You know, you can be like, I'm calling bottom at 30K and you long 30K and maybe you're fucking right. But the chances of you actually longing at 30K and holding it all the way back up to a new all-time high are like zero. It's no different argument than people who are like, oh, if I was just around back in 2018, I would have bought all the Bitcoin at 3K. And it's like, yeah, and you would have sold it at 10K, 15K, and 20K. You wouldn't have held it to the fucking top. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Deal with what's in front of us. What's in front of us is a downtrend.